We have kicked off.
And we are off.
We have kicked off.
So, should say good afternoon and welcome to the men's ones rugby here down on the 22 acres. My name's Matthew Kill. I'm joined by Ruby. Hello. And
so have just kicked the ball to us, and number 15 is running away.
Absolutely, this is going to be a tight and intense affair. Currently, the score at Roses slightly less narrow than York would anticipate it to be. However, the rugby could change all that. A large number of points up for grabs, of course. Let's run you through the teams very quickly as we see a maul turn into a ruck from York, and a penalty will be given to the side of York. Can't quite see what the foul was. Potentially not rolling away, however. It'll be a foul to York just past the halfway line. To run you through the teams, starting with the York first team, the home team, of course. And 1 Tom Clark, 2 Callum Wilson, 3 Alex Fox, 4 Alistair Murray, 5 Teo Olasanya, 6 Jaden Fields, 7 Grant Muir, 8 Dylan Jinmey, 9 Stephen Douch, 10 Finley Morris, 11 Tom Thompson, 12 Charlie Williams, 13 Oliver Dawson, 14 Shackleton Kedisic, and 15 Tom Chesworth. The Lancaster team that will be facing them is number 1 Ed Rowell, 2 Oliver Ball, 3 Reece Tasker, 4 Sven Anderson, 5 Ben Ling, 6 Max Senior, 7 Josh Alexander. I can't read the second half of the surname, unfortunately. 8 Tom Hopkins, number 9 Tom Hopkinson. Number 10, Billy Boyd, 11, Callum Reardon, 12, Peter Gower, 13, Dan Banks, 14, Ben McGarvey, 15, Jack Lane. As we see York driving down into the Lancaster left-hand side of the pitch. Good 5 yards out from the try line. Looking very steady, York trying to pass it wide. Trying to work it down the right wing. It's come out. It looks to be coming in. And it will be a try for York to open the scoring here on the 22 acres. What a magnificent play out to the wing. And it was Shackleton Kedisic that ended up getting the ball down. And York have the points, 5-0. Ruby, what do you think?
It's a try with a strong maul onto the line out and great play. Let's hope they get the conversion now. And we'll see as they go to kick.
Now we can see, of course, for those of you unfamiliar with the game of rugby, 5 points for a try, 2 points for a conversion. Although, depending on why you'd be watching it if you weren't particularly. Charlie Williams, man, lining up to take the kick here. Good 25 or so yards out. Lines the ball up, takes his aim. And it's not the start that Lancaster would have wanted into this match.
It's not an easy kick either. It's quite a very windy day here in York.
It is very windy. The rain might be coming in. It's not quite the beautiful conditions we had for the men's football on the Friday. Or, in fact, yesterday. It was a very beautiful day.
It's quite sweaty playing yesterday. Out on the 22. And he takes the kick.
Johnny Williams.
And slightly wide.
It's wide. It's just bending in that wind, isn't it?
It's 5. That means it's 5-0 to York, and they are set to receive a kick from Lancaster.
Well, it's very positive, progressing early play here from the York boys as we get a smidgen of rain here in our uncovered commentary booth. And we both, at least you've got a hoodie. I forgot to bring my coat. This could be quite entertaining. It's Ben McGarvey. McGarvey's kicked the ball to the back. York will leave it out.
Dead. So, oh my, that is some heavy rain. How charming.
Well, it's going to be a York scrum from the halfway line. As of course,
unsavoury language heard, because the crowds can get a bit aggressive here in York.
Despite the rather measly conditions, we do have a good following of York faithful behind us, the Lancaster sitting on the opposite line. The scrum is set.
Scrum.
Front line looking eager.
So for those of you unaware, when the ball at kickoff goes dead or goes straight out the pitch, then it becomes a scrum at the halfway.
And the scrum from the halfway line. Scrum from the halfway line has been awarded as a penalty to York after Lancaster were deemed to have collapsed the scrum on the halfway line, so it will be a penalty.
Lancaster's number 1 told off there for coming in early at the scrum. And York will now kick the ball off and attack.
Be Charlie Williams for York. Let's kick the ball up. See what they can do with it. Lancaster lining up. Let's go. And the ball is in the air. And it's coming out for, ideally, for York.
Straight out, and it will be a...
He actually hasn't reached the touchline from there. Unfortunately, the side of York, however, penalty has been awarded for a knock-on from Lancaster on the far side. Just past the... As you can hear.
Oh my.
The York
As you can
faithful,
tell, we are surrounded by York rugby players.
in full voice this afternoon, despite the dreary conditions.
Yeah. So it is now York scrum, due to Lancaster's knock-on. And hopefully they can gain another penalty. But we'll see.
Scrum half looking to put the ball in here for York. Once again.
It's a strong scrum from York. Lancaster seeming to rise. Yeah, and that is the sign of a great scrum where it races in the middle. Solid tackle from Lancaster there.
Ball nearly robbed off of Tom Thompson after an incredible tackle from Lancaster. Ball's down once again. It'll be
York advantage for a high tackle.
Oliver Dawson
Not
takes the ball to
releasing.
ground. And it'll be another scrum to York. Actually, no. It'll be a penalty this time.
Almost.
Almost. It's been a while since I've watched some rugby, Ruby.
It's all right. I spent quite a while watching it yesterday. I played in a game yesterday, and I was watching the York Women's Threes game yesterday. So
Did you win?
we unfortunately did not. However, the Threes did. I think the Threes won, from what I remember. It was quite a hefty drinking day yesterday.
Oh, absolutely. I have no doubts. Dawson puts the ball out, and it will finally be a line out to York. This is just inside, about 5 yards off of the try line here. It's very positive play from York. They've had all of the possession here. Lancaster have really looked out of form.
The ball has not actually gone in York's own half yet this game, which is a sign of a healthy game from York, and puts them on the right track to win.
Line out coming in. It was
Fortunate line out there. The ball went over the jumper.
Murray was up to take it. The ball went flying over. And now it's Lancaster in possession.
And they've kicked the ball from their own 22. And unfortunately have not made touch, as they would have hoped to do, because when you kick the ball, for those of you that aren't familiar with the rules, when you kick the ball straight from your own 22 and the ball goes out, you take the line out from the point where the ball's gone out. And now Lancaster have the ball and are running with it.
Apologies for the language you may have heard coming off of the incredibly faithful support. Hopkinson passes the ball off. It's Rowell who takes it to ground for Lancaster. Strong challenge there, mauling forward, and it will be a penalty to Lancaster. Looks like the offender on the York side may have been Teo Olusanya, who's gone down injured. He's holding his leg. Doesn't look particularly great. Just inside the halfway line. Lancaster now with possession. Still 5-0 to York if you're just joining us on roseslive.co.uk, I believe it is. I can't remember the web address. It was a long night last night. You may be listening on URY on 88.3 FM and on DAB and online, or Bailrig FM, wherever you may find them, or LA1 TV or YSTV on the YouTube channel. As we wait, as Olusanya receives some treatment just inside the midfield. York trainers on. Referee overseeing the matters, making sure that he's okay, and we hope that it's nothing too serious.
Yeah, I mean, the weather's not particularly helpful. It's rather chilly today. And it's not exactly great conditions to play in, but at least it'll soften the ground up. The ground this week, due to the hot weather, has been quite solid. So the rain will hopefully mash it up a little bit while they're playing.
Of course, from memory, rugby detachable studs preferred to softer ground.
Oh, yes. Exactly. Well, studs can be quite sore when the ground's quite solid. I'm safe to say, with all training and everything this week, our whole team's got blisters. There's no tomorrow. Oh, it is not warm today. But the medical treatment received gave time for it to go on. And Lancaster have kicked the ball and it's gone out. So there will be a line out.
If any Boyd kicks a touch for Lancaster, it'll be a line out, which I believe Boyd looks set to take. As the two teams line up. The weather not looking to improve anytime soon. but the support's still as loud as ever from both sides. Lancaster on the far side of the pitch from where we're sitting. Lancaster playing from right to left as they push deep into the Yorker half. Deeper into the York half. Lancaster players appealing, essentially, for not rolling away. As it will be York with a kick.
As you can probably hear, the York fans trying to get in the heads of the Lancaster players. Unfortunate knock on there from York, but Lancaster playing the advantage.
Thompson with the knock on, Lancaster advantage. York will kick it away. It will go out for a line out. Or will the referee should be pulling it back.
As well.
And the ball appears to be got into the cricket pitches. Nope. They've recovered a ball from the Lancaster stands.
They don't want to get it too far in there. The archery's set up over there, so
oh dear,
get an unfortunate puncture.
We'd rather play with an egg than an arrow.
Yes, exactly.
Lancaster line out just inside the York half. She's all right, thank you. Custer, it's Ali Murray there, takes the ball from the jump. Big hits coming in. And Tom Clark goes to ground. Massive hit. Now it's Lancaster looking to drive. Penalty given to Lancaster. High tackle coming in at about chest height there. Not sure who the offender was, but the person who won it was Fred the Foe. Morris to kick it. Potentially looks like he wants to be discussing to play this into touch. Or does he want to be playing
a... They're going to make a penalty kick from about 45 yards.
It's a decent distance. Do you think they can make it?
I think they've got a strong chance. I don't think they'd have gone for it if they didn't have faith. But as a biased Yorkshire fan, I hope they missed.
Well, of course, that is your opinion, and you're right to have an opinion. No bias here.
I would never.
It'll be Morris lining up to take the kick. Of course, the York fans doing their best to interrupt his thinking process. 45 yards out, lined up in the centre of the pitch.
And the Lancaster players all in line, ready to chase it down should he potentially miss.
The kick is up.
Strong kick, that.
And the kick is through. That's quite an effort from 45 yards out. So Lancaster gets some points on the board.
That would now make the score 5-3, because you get 3 points for a penalty.
3 points safely claimed by the social secretary of the club, Finley Morris. I tried to find a fun fact about him on my spreadsheet, but I think my phone is covered in rain.
Healthy kick to kick off. And we apologise for the death threats, but it's from the crowd and we cannot control it. But there is a ruck and the scrum half is looking to kick the ball.
It's gone straight up. Lancaster looking to retrieve.
Tyre managed to get
knocked backwards. Held onto by York. Apologies for the language. Making me really work for it. Scrum half for York, Finley Morris offloads this over. Sir Toby Paul Wilson driving forward, goes down to ground. Retrieved and passed away by Dooch.
And York running it forwards, but unfortunately tackled out the pitch by Lancaster.
And York now find themselves in another promising position on the far touch line. Big tackle going down, York rocking over.
Safe to say, I would hate to be refereeing this game.
I would not. It must be. Tensions running high as well, of course, at Roses.
Always.
And so far, the officiating performance probably agreeable to both sides. However, we'll see as the day goes on. It's Williams who passes it forward. Dropped by Dawson.
Knocked forwards.
And it will be knocked forwards. And while Kiedicic still has hold off the ball, it's going to be pulled back. As we struggle to see what goes on the near touchline. I think the ball may have been muscled out of play, even.
Maybe been taken by a supporter. It's a strong possibility.
Potentially, the crowds are always influential at Roses. Ideally, not this influential. Partway through the first half here on the 22 acres, it's York 5, Lancaster 3. try early on from York by Kedicic it was to put York into the lead, and Lancaster with a spectacular 45 yards kick to get themselves some points.
Has just been taken off the pitch, but we're not sure potentially why, and I don't think he is either. They're still struggling to get the ball back. And I think there may potentially be an injury on the side of the pitch.
Potentially an injury. Both teams crowding around with their coaches at the moment, having a nice little team talk. It's a gentleman in a suit on the pitch, so we hope we're getting back underway shortly. Of course, the action all paused here.
For a quick water break.
And there's been a break in the water coming from the sky as well. It's cleared up slightly.
Lovely.
How delightful.
Safe
much
to
needed.
Say I'm grateful.
Exactly. I am freezing and my phone screen is dead.
Hands are rather cold holding the mic.
Indeed they are.
Now you might have heard Alex Fox.
Fox doesn't appear to know why he's been taken off either. Either way, both teams still with 15 on the pitch, so it can't have been discipline. And in all of that kerfuffle, I can't quite remember who ended up getting the ball after the incident where the player was taken off.
It was a knock-on. So
yes, it was.
By York, and so therefore it'll be a Lancaster scrum. It'll be a Lancaster scrum on the 22-metre line for defending their own try line.
Hopkinson lines up at the side. Props locking in, pushing forward. They've crouched. They've bound. We're waiting for the set. All goes in. York shoving pretty aggressively forward, strong.
Very defensive scrum. And York will get the ball as the scrum half dropped it as he was trying to get it out the scrum, and it got caught on someone's leg. So it will now be a knock-on York scrum attacking the Lancaster try line from Lancaster's own 22.
From Lancaster's 22, it's York with the ball once more, looking positively threatening. Only 5 points on the board. Misconversion, of course, earlier on. But York with the dominance in this match so far. Lancaster's points only coming through the form of a penalty, as the referee will reset this scrum.
And there we have some of the women's players watching on the sidelines, smiling away. Women's players are playing after this. So anyone that is planning on coming down, chop chop, because they're going to warm up soon, and it'll be a great game. Hopefully, not that I'm biased, our ones will pull it off, but we will see.
Absolutely. Well, you can catch all that action on the Roses Live YouTube channel or roseslive.co.uk. You can catch up to date with the scores. Just waiting to see the confirmation of the current scores at the moment. But to see where we stand.
I believe last time I checked, York are not doing particularly well.
It's not great for York. 127 points to Lancaster's 164. However, if you will recall last year, by this point, York had lost by Saturday at lunchtime. York now on 135 points. Sorry for the correction. Catching up somewhat, still looks like Lancaster's to lose.
Successful scrum and unfortunate drop of the ball, but picked up by number 14, all the way out to the wing.
And it'll go down. Lancaster look to have overturned the ball, perhaps a rip. And they rock over York with a very high defensive line here, watching Lancaster trying to feed it through. Man, take it to ground on their 22 now on the far side touchline. Lancaster driving from the forwards, absolutely driving up inside the halfway line. And he will go to ground. Lancaster look to play it out. York's defensive line holding strong so far in their half.
That was a big play from Lancaster there, very important. Needed to get it out there, 22. Very defensive.
Kick to air, taken.
Great take by Finley Morris, the number 10. Then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And now it'll be York who claims from the kick.
It's a good run. Just escaped a tackle, but unfortunately dumped. And mild crocodile roll there by Lancaster, but
Oliver taken to ground. It's knocked back by Callum Wilson, who gains control for York. Driving on the near side touchline. Dump tackle coming in from Lancaster. Pushing forward for John Petty.
another
Pushing
big tackle
strongly in. Another massive tackle. These hits are coming in heavy. Small kick through.
Slightly unsuccessful kick by York's number 9, but a great defensive tackle by number 13.
It was. And Lancaster now with possession of the ball. York, the very high defensive line, holding up. Still in the first half here. It's 5 with points for York, 3 for Lancaster.
Great catch by number 10.
And
great defensive tackle by Lancaster, chasing the ball. But unfortunately brought back for a penalty. I believe it to be a high tackle. But it's a Lancaster penalty. And I think the offender was number 30. Unsure on that though. Could be wrong. Probably are.
Well, it's Lancaster's ball. Inside, just ahead of their 22, and they've had some positive play.
They have. Unfortunately, they've played most of it in their own half. Well, depends who you're supporting. But they have been quite a defensive game so far, but do keep managing to make some good turnovers and crucial turnovers at that. We've not seen any points come on the board for York since the try in the first 5 minutes.
It's a tap and go from Lancaster from the penalty. And it will be picked up on the 22. York looking to rip the ball, rolling away from the tackle. Lancaster now trying to work it down their line. Some tricky footwork there from, I believe, Lenihan from Lancaster. Lays off the ball after the tackle. Coming out to the right wing. There's some opportunity to break here. Perhaps get out of their own half. And it'll be a knock-on from Lancaster. York will get the penalty just near side.
It's likely to be a scrum here due to the knock-on, but there's been several scrums at that point. I'm pretty sure the forwards would be exhausted by now. I mean, I definitely would be. In the women's game, in the women's twos game yesterday, we had 5 scrums in the space of 5 minutes.
Wow.
I mean, as a number 8, it didn't really affect me, but safe to say our front row were not pleased.
Oh, it's a little known fact. When I used to play rugby, I was number 1. I was tight head. I was right up in there. And actually, we had a hooker who was really quite short, and me and this other really tall guy. So we'd have to lift him up every time we set the scrum.
Quite unusual, but it works.
It was funny, but I do not miss how tired my legs were after the amount of scrums that were in school rugby.
York have had very successful scrums at the minute. But Lancaster seem to be pick and go by the number 8 there.
Jinmi pushing forward with an excellent run, avoiding Lancaster tackles, knocked in the air and retrieved by Muir.
But a strong tackle there from Lancaster's number 11.
Alistair Murray for York goes to grounds. Just this side of the try line, York looking to double their lead, trying to smuggle it over. Not on this occasion.
To use that forward power there and drive it over the line, but unfortunately they're not really getting much space, but they've passed it out to Tayo and someone else. Can't see.
Someone else as well.
Can't really see that far. But York are slowly gaining metres.
Slowly gaining metres, inches away. Referee has called the ball short. It will be
under the post now, just driving that ball in.
And it's a drive forward, and it'll be another try to York.
Successful work there from York, and those several scrums are clearly paying off.
Stefan Dooch is the man who gets it between the sticks. It's an excellent try from York after a deserving drive. Excellent work from the forwards to create the space.
It's a lovely captain's try from the Welshman.
And it will now be York who look to seize control of this first half. 10 York, 3 Lancaster. Once more, Williams lining up. A much easier kick this time, and the wind appears to have died down, so slightly more of the chance at a conversion here. York, of course, looking to make their total 12.
The sun's come out. How lovely.
An absolute shocking turn of events. It's sunny. As the ball is through.
It doesn't really happen up there.
At least we can see.
Yes.
And it's not cold anymore. Although
hoods have gone down.
Everybody touch wood.
Yeah. Touch the head there.
York 12, Lancaster 3. Good successful conversion. Not far out. Right between the sticks.
And York again set to receive for Lancaster to take the kick.
Yeah. Do you believe that there is a way back into this first half for Lancaster?
I'm not sure. They need something, a positive. They need something in the game, like whether that's a strong hit, winning a scrum, something like that, to just turn around the morale, I think. Because I think they are slowly starting to drop off. But well taken by Tayo there, number 5. Our second row. And the forwards, I think, are forming a strong ruck, although uncontested by Lancaster. High kick, but a short kick.
Knocked forward by Lancaster, but it's retrieved by York. A little overhead kick there. Quite an interesting tactic. It's John Petty who's got to ground here. York now trying to play it out through the middle, trying to use any width that they might be able to, but it'll be a kick forward. Fullbacks for Lancaster deciding what to do, trying to play the line instead of kicking it directly back, which is something we see a lot in professional rugby, hoofing it back and forth, and not necessarily the most celebrated tactic, especially with England.
Yes, precisely. England are not popular for that, but myself, as an Italian fan,
Italy, rogue.
Well, I have to follow my roots.
Ah, well, there you go.
But Italy are progressing as a team, much to England's dismay, I think, at the minute. Yeah, York's doing pretty well here.
Yeah, once more, it's York in control of the...
York are dominating them physically.
There you go, a word from the coach on the sideline. As we're in an advantageous position to get those, John Petty takes the ball, goes to ground. Big tackle from Lancaster. York pulling it back. It's Finlay Morris, kicks it through, looks to capitalise. Can't quite make it, leads with the feet, and it's Lancaster who retrieve the ball with Jack Lane to ground. Ethan Roche through, tackle onto Reece Tasker from Lancaster, playing still inside their own half. Will they look to kick the ball? They will with Billy Boyd. York to collect. Back and forth a bit now. Slightly more England-esque.
It's becoming quite a kicking game.
Perhaps trying to slow down after the physical dominance of York in the first half. Lancaster trying to find some room to breathe. They've been on the back foot the whole half. Big pull down onto Callum Wilson there. And York still with the ball on the halfway line. Ooch passes the ball out to Tayo.
Number 12 running it in.
It's Charlie Williams with a
gaining several
big
meters.
Drive down, almost halfway into the Lancaster half now. York to ground once more. I feel like I'm saying to ground a lot. That's purely because the York dominance there's been so many tackles, and Lancaster find themselves in this defensive shape they can't seem to get themselves out of. Wilson back over to Williams, all the way out to the wing.
Fortunately, the referees pulled it back for a forward pass.
Which is a shame for York, really, because they're making really good positive play here, and Lancaster can't find some breathing room, and I think the way out of it is the penalties.
Subbed on here for a strong scrum. He's a very strong front row. Played for the Cayman Islands this season.
Really?
Yes. Went over there and played for them. I think in might be February. But yeah, made his national debut. So he's a very strong player to have in their scrum.
Well, there you go. One to look out for as York looking to defend this time.
He's on our tight head prop. And as you can hear, the sideline, York strong scrum.
It's Lancaster who managed to escape. A great chopping tackle there onto
number 8 pick and go. Coaches and subs pacing up and down the sides, encouraging the crowd to chant and encourage their team.
The crowds have made a great part in this game, and it's perhaps why York have that little bit of an edge. They're driving. They want the fans to see something they can be proud of. 12-3 to York here on the 22 acres if you're listening or just joining on University Radio York on 88.3 FM and on the line and on DAB as Lancaster get the penalty. Perhaps you're watching on Rose's live YouTube or YSTV or Balerig or listening on LA1 or something like that. Whatever. It's I'm rattling at this point. Lancaster now look to kick to touch here.
But they've just kicked it off.
And Billy Boyd finds the touchline. Lancaster line out on the far side of the pitch, further deep into the York half. First time perhaps they've seen it in quite some time, Ruby.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a very York-heavy game, this. Lancaster really need to look to do something here and try and use it. But we will see. We will see. It's looking like a 5-man line now. So, but they're currently missing a ball. So they've just kicked that on. I think the ball went over their head.
Yeah.
Maybe hit by an arrow. You never know.
Well, if you happen to be on the archery range, if you could toss some balls back over, it would be lovely.
Yes. Yes. Unlikely, though. It's very gated off at the minute. We don't need any stray arrows.
No.
That would be an issue.
A stray arrow would certainly cause some issues here.
Yeah, it might cause a couple of problems. Lancaster pulling a funny play here. Quite several dummy jumps, but eventually comes out, and number 8 is the one that is tackled.
Tom Hopkins going down for Lancaster. Really strong driving play. Lancaster with a bit of momentum now. Ayres now the man who received the line out, driving forward. Finally, York can manage to get the man down, but it is incredibly narrow there. A really strong play from Lancaster. This is a better spell of play. Banks goes to ground. Nearer inside of the York 22. Looking to the wing. Ayres once more. Ball is fed out to Ed Rowell, the number 1. Drops to ground.
That is a strong hit from York's number 7.
It definitely was. York's number 7, that'll be Muir. And the York crowds willing their team into defending this. This is the most possession we've seen Lancaster have the whole game. Ben McGarvey now on the far side.
Someone has given too many people megaphones today.
Yes, there are one too many, especially when they're right behind the commentary booth.
It's not ideal, but oh well. If there is any unsavoury language, we do apologise, but it's not really something we can control.
And they say time flies when you're having fun. We're taking a short momentary break here. Lancaster with the ball in possession. And it'll be a scrum to Lancaster on the York 22. Not quite sure what offence was committed.
Let's go! Thanks, words of wisdom from the coach there. But it'll be a very defensive scrum here from York because they are on their own 22. I think it's the only scrum in their whole half during the whole game so far. But you can see the red coming out of the scrum half's hat. Defending his team, clearly, and representing his true Lancaster colours.
The red hair is certainly good touch.
All the Lancaster players walking around, they've all got the same T-shirts, and they all say Red Roses on the front, and they've all got their sports on the back, which I think are quite nice. We have the Roses Day T-shirts, but they aren't really sports specific, but they all look quite posh walking around.
Number 9, Tom Hopkinson, with a wonderful red mullet peeking out the back of his scrum cap here at the scrum half. Waiting to put it in for Lancaster, but setup wasn't quite to the referee's liking. Score still remains 12 points in the favour of York. Lancaster trailing behind on 3 after a penalty from 45 yards out. Very well taken. But it's York with the leads so far in the first half and looking mostly dominant. But Lancaster now seem to have a passage of play of their own. Can they continue it from this scrum? Ball is put in by Tom Hopkinson and collected by Tom Hopkinson.
Straight out by Lancaster. They don't want to leave the ball in there too long.
Hopkinson lays off, and the cheers you hear.
Great tackle from number 13.
It's an excellent tackle from 13 on to 13 down backs. Now Lancaster looking to push further into the half.
Lancaster number 8 managed to push through that defensive line and made a great break. Whoops, that was not intended. But
That was quite loud, wasn't it? And Christmas carols.
fans singing away in a manger. Not unexpected, but
Never too early to start Christmas, some may say.
I mean, what, 5 months into the year? But oh well, you live, you learn. Some of
That's a bit more normal.
Yorkshire's the one that was expected. I'm not sure away in a manger was quite anticipated, but oh well. Fans. Another scrum.
Well, now
on
that the weather's come out, all the fans' mood has improved significantly, especially on the York side, considering they are in the lead. Lancaster, though, not insignificant numbers on the far side as well. Of course, we can't hear them as well because they're not right behind us. Will be Lancaster to defend this scrum. York with the ball on far line on their 22. You've got to be thinking, if you're coaching for Lancaster, what do you say to these players at half-time that gets them to break this spell of York dominance?
You would need a very strong half-time pep talk. I think, I would not want to be in his shoes right now.
Absolutely not. And in the game Football Manager, there's a phrase, throw the water bottle, that you could use. I think that maybe I'd find that's a
great strong tackle there.
Incredibly strong tackle.
It was needed.
Much needed to dispel the Lancaster side of play. York with the ball now, driving through and driving up onto halfway line. Finally, he is taken down and dragged on even further. But there'll be a penalty to York for it at the side.
So York take the penalty here. Believe they're going to kick it. It would make sense. They'll probably kick it straight out, so then they can have a line out. But yes, that's exactly what they did. Very high kick, very far back. Oh, didn't quite make the archery pit though.
We made it this side of the fences for the first time this match. A ball kick to touch has actually found its way back onto the pitch quickly. Wilson retrieves the ball for York, and York will have a line out halfway into Lancaster's half. Who's going to be the jumper this time on the side of York?
Oh, dummy jump at the back. But
dummy jump at the back. It's over, and Lancaster will reclaim.
Line out from York, but York got a penalty there for Lancaster closing the gap between the line out. So it will be a York scrum. Oh, or maybe not. I think it's a York penalty.
And York are actually in a pretty promising position here, and I think they're taking a look as to whether they want to go for this or if they want to tap and go. I think the tap and go is the call here. There, nice dummy fake there for the tap and go to give York a little bit of space and pressure. Good defensive line from Lancaster on the 22 now.
Cheeky smile there from the number 9 as Lancaster fell for the dummy. Almost mocking. Strong tackle there.
York now on the near side. Pushing forward with Alex Fox goes to ground. Unit of a man pushing forward. Finley Morris now offloads over
way out to the
Williams. Wing. On the far line, it's Sinclair. Sinclair pushing forward. Gets past
tried
one,
a cheeky step there, but it wasn't quite successful.
Lancaster screaming in appeals, and they will
receive the penalty. Not quite sure what it was for, but someone's getting a bit spicy there, trying to a bit of push and shove.
It's a bit of argy-bargy, but that's to be expected.
Number 6 for Lancaster, getting a bit feisty, but
I mean, Max Senior. His nickname is Harmless, apparently, and studying nuclear engineering.
Oh, that's a strong degree.
He's played county rugby before, actually. His middle name is Danger, apparently.
That is an interesting choice. I mean, quite a cool name, especially for a rugby player.
Lancaster with the ball inside on their 22. Time seems to be going slowly as York deciding how they want to defend this. And the reason it was moving so slowly was there was once more a ball off the pitch. There's now
great pass
by York. And
from the wing
into the wind as well.
I know.
magnificently long pass. So
Proper spiral.
credit where credit is due. Shackleton Kedatic with a wonderful pass out of play. Lancaster tip the ball back from the line out. Decent jumping there. Lancaster now looking to find a way through. They don't want to play it wide just yet. Big dumping tackle from York on the Lancaster 22. Far side of the pitch. York playing from left to right. And Lancaster will decide to kick the ball further away.
Chased down by both the wings and the fullback. And the fullback's running it in, makes several meters, gets up and runs again.
Tom Chesworth was still going there. It's just been taken to ground, but that's a nice, good 20 or so yard drive from fullback.
Alex Fox takes it in. But number 9 receives an advantage for being tackled off the ball. But the ball's gone out of play, but it will go back to the penalty.
And once more, York capitalising on a Lancaster misjudgment.
Yeah. There's been quite a few of them this half, unfortunately. But the captain is now having words with the ref. Number 10, fly half. Encouraging the crowds to get a bit louder. And actually telling them that the crowd was a bit dead. Which we did not agree, but
the Christmas carols sung at the top of the lungs from the rugby lads on the byline behind us from the Yorkshire persuasion. Kick coming in now. It's going to be attempted. Lines up. Checks everything. Ball is up.
Great kick.
And ball is over. Really good judgment into the wind there from Charlie Williams. And York find themselves another 3 points. The score now, York 15, Lancaster still trailing behind on 3. And again, it's another Lancaster lapse in judgment that's led to a York positive play deep in the Lancaster half. Ends up in a penalty.
York set to receive again. As Lancaster, number 11 goes to kick.
And it's York to receive.
Taken in by number 19.
Fred Foe, that would be. And
that would be the end of the first half.
And that is the half here on the 22 acres. It's been a tale of one half. It's safe to say York dominating in possession. Lancaster struggling to find roads in. They managed to get a decent penalty from 45 yards out with rather an impressive kick. But it's York who lead here at half-time. York 15, Lancaster 3.
Now, what would you be saying if you were the Lancaster coach? I mean, you've got to really sort of change the morale. They're not really not really dominating much in this half at all. I mean, they did get a bit better gradually, but it feels like they're settling in a bit now. But that late try and just their lack of discipline really is causing them to concede so many penalties, and they're just not really driving for it.
I think there's a phrase that Neil Warnock, the football manager, uses. Enjoy yourselves, but enjoy it by being disciplined, should we say. And I think that's what the Lancaster coach will be saying to his players at the moment. They've really messed up in defensive situations. Their defensive line has been fine, but they've been giving away too many easy penalties. And York have capitalised. York have 2 tries and
I mean, the sheer number of scrums just on Lancaster's 22 just proves the sort of lack of discipline, because scrums are only really conceded when there is a lack of discipline, and it's quite a shame. But you can see over on the far pitch, the women are starting to warm up for their game. That'll be a very good game. Everyone, please go down to watch and support. It'll be a great game, and the women's rugby is always fun. It's actually part of the closing ceremony. So
ticketed event? Not really.
No. Should be.
It should be. And it's also once more great to see the sort of diversity in sport that we get out at Roses. Of course, almost every sport having either gendered or open categories, which is wonderful to see how diverse sport is at York.
Yes.
And it's really positive for the game. Of course, you do women's rugby.
I do. So I will be heading down after the game to go and watch and get and support my girls. But as you say about the diversity in sport, I was at the opening ceremony event on Friday night. And I mean, it was incredible. They had a starting show. They had the jazz marching band. I thought that looked brilliant, actually. It was quite interesting to watch. And then they also had the cheerleading in all the time breaks. And they had what other events did they have? Oh, they also had York Dance Society. They all did the halftime breaks, and then the basketball, the main event as well. It was so well done. There was a whole presenter and everything. It was really fun, and they had the little kids from the York basketball team.
That's cute.
Yes, it was lovely. It was really nice, and they all came on, and they were doing one of the quarter break. They were bouncing their balls and trying to shoot in the goal, in the hoop. I'm not really a basketball term in basketball.
You can say the hoop is the goal.
Hoop the goal,
whatever.
something like that.
Something like that. I've commentated basketball once.
I'm more of a netball girl myself, but it's a bit more complicated than I imagined the basketball. But rain is starting to come in a bit more now.
Here we go again. We're here at half time, of course. York 15, Lancaster 3 on the 22 acres. If you do choose to come out and support, please do, because there's a magnificent crowd forming around the pitches. And of course, over for the women's game that's happening straight after this one. If you'd like to come down and support, just make sure you bring a coat, because the conditions ended up looking rather nice. I came down wearing a lovely little jacket and
yes.
rains on.
I was running out the house, and my friend went, "You might want to take a hoodie with you." I have never been so cold in my life. I was going to come out in just a t-shirt. How clever would that have been?
I was up eager and early this morning. No, I wasn't. But I was up when I was getting out of bed. I was a little late today, and I decided to very quickly have a shower. And I did have my shower, and then came outside and realised I didn't need one because I was going to get one from the sky.
Yes, it's safe to say not warm and a bit rainy, but they're still doing the team talks. It looks like the subs are coming off now, and the physio is coming off as well. So I'm guessing they'll be resuming again soon. But
nearly ready for the second half.
The touch judges are walking back over.
So the York team appears to be prepared.
Yes, getting a nice in detail description of one of the players' injuries, but how lovely. But York are just having their final bit of team talk. Lancaster looking like they're raring to go.
Would you expect Lancaster?
Referee just speaking to the Lancaster captain now. I expect Lancaster to come back stronger, bit more morale, bit more energy behind it. I mean, their crowd. I mean, it might just be because we're the other side of the pitch to them and we are in this crowd. But Lancaster crowd don't seem to be as loud as expected. They were very loud yesterday. Could hear them all the way on the other pitches. But looks like number 6 coming off.
For York.
Yes, sorry for York.
For York.
Sorry, number
6 coming off for York. That's Jaden Field, who's been taken off and replaced.
And York set to receive. That's the second time this game. Once after the penalty.
And we brace for impact. Yes. As I'm sure my eardrums will be blown out when Lancaster kick the ball into the air. No, not quite, actually. It's a very short kickoff received by Maxie Hunt, who's in a very forward position here. And York already, within the first seconds, looking as though they're happy to maintain possession. It's still York with the ball, kicked away this time by Dooch. Dropped by Lancaster, did not go forward. He has been
blown for a knock-on.
Well, it has gone forward. I thought he'd recovered it there.
So it'll be a York scrum.
Referee chose it.
I think, unfortunately,
score otherwise.
It was a really unfortunate ball there, and he'll regret that. But I mean, that's part of the game. Scrum here for York. As you can hear, the crowds are ready to go. Currently out of sync with each other, but oh well. Not sure.
Their cohesion on the pitch has been very good. Cohesion in the singing department.
Number 8, second pick and go.
Jinmi
Made
running, and that's an
several
excellent drive.
meters.
Just shy of the 22 there for
Drove
York.
straight over the Lancaster player there. Ali making his run.
Ali Murray's gone to ground. It's offloaded to John Petty. Petty
Offload
passes
to
it
number
from
20.
his chest
out
over
to
to
the
Wally
wing.
Shaw. Tom Chesworth down on the near side. York going back the other way with Grant Muir drive forward. Lancaster managed to tackle him. Still no progress made by York in on the 22, just inside the second half. York now. Ali Murray with a move forward. Lancaster's defensive line holding up very strongly. Who's carries it away. And it was strong enough that it forces a knock-on out of York. This is looking more positive defensively from Lancaster.
Yeah, slightly. I mean, they'll be annoyed at themselves for a certain infringements, but they'll be really needing a strong scrum here. Very, very strong scrum.
And of course, the one of the issues with Lancaster in the first half was that their ill discipline got the best of them.
Yeah,
and
so
gave
it'll be
York the
interesting to
opportunity.
see. It'll be interesting to see if they do, if they are a bit more disciplined. I mean, so far they have been, but I mean, we are only like 3 minutes in. But they'll need a strong drive here. But as you can probably hear, the crowds are willing York on. Number 8 tried to pick and go, but the flanker was there and ready. Made a strong tackle.
It was an excellent handoff, and it's been
ripped
away.
But unfortunately, the ref has called them up for not releasing. So that was mildly unsuccessful. But a referee, York just needs to be back on side.
Might need to mind our heads in a second. Lancaster kicked a touch on the little side.
Strong kick into the ditch, but don't.
At least there isn't an arrow flying outside. And the line out is right in front of the York crowds, who are making sublime amounts of noise for the York boys on the pitch. Lancaster to take the line out.
Trying to get in the hooker's head here. They're really trying to get in the hooker's head here.
The subs are really putting pressure on it.
Strong line out
the jumper from Lancaster.
Strong line out from Lancaster. Thankfully, he wasn't affected by the crowd's rusing.
And now it's York's turn to do the defending. They were on the attack for a good 90% of the first half. But this time, they've got to prove that they have their worth in the defence. It's Ben Ling for Lancaster. Takes the ball forwards. He's down just over the halfway line on the left side. About 7 minutes or 10 minutes gone into the second half here. It's still York 15, Lancaster 3. Lancaster in possession, driving forward. Hands off over to Tom Hopkins of Lancaster. He's beaten 2 or 3. He's taken down on the York 22 with a strong challenge.
Great
York
tackle
take the
there
ball.
from number 8, who knocks the ball backwards out of the Lancaster hands. But
advantage given for knock-on by the referee. Advantage has been cleared. It's Lancaster now. With the ball looking, pressing. It was a great run by Hopkins earlier on, and that has given them a bit of motivation now on the York 22. Ayres goes to ground for Lancaster. York doing everything they can to hold on to this big gap. Sven Anderson for Lancaster. Huge dump tackle there. And that is
shirt ripped off.
Shirt has been ripped off of the York player. It's Lancaster continuing to drive. Pushing forward, lays off, and the ball is on the ground. Try for Lancaster. There is life in the game for them yet.
That'll be a big change to their morale now. And so they'll take the conversion now, and it'll be a big change in morale. They've needed it.
They've proven that they can hold York to only 2 tries in the first half. And now they've proven that they can break the York defence down. I didn't quite catch who actually got the ball down in the end, but it was a lovely team play, lots of little handoffs, offloading, and it was down just between the sticks, just to the left. Taken quickly, and the ball is good. Which means with the penalty, it's now York 15, Lancaster 10. Finding a way back into this game, Ruby.
Yeah, just about. We'll see if they manage to maintain it, but you'll either need a big turnaround in York's energy now. The crowd are really egging them on, as you can hear all around.
They've realised that the lead is not insurmountable for York, and here's Lancaster to receive from the kickoff. Here on the 22 acres, you're listening live on University Radio York, 80.3 FM, and online, and on digital radio, or LA1 TV online, Bailring FM, and YSTV, and Roses Media. Nearly collected by York, but it's Lancaster who recover. Brilliant tackle for York. Ball has gone out. And it will be a line out deep into Lancaster's half. York looking to immediately retaliate. And the wind has certainly picked up because my hair has gone crazy.
Mine definitely should have brought a hair tie, but anyway.
I've got one, but I'm holding my phone and a microphone and I can't put it on.
It'll be a York line out? Yeah, York line out.
It is a York line out. York in possession.
I can't see that far down the pitch, but...
Ball has gone long, jumper receives it, passes it backwards, but...
It's another unsuccessful line out from York. That'll be a big thing that they'll need to work on after this.
I believe it's been given as a penalty to York, which would be a big opportunity.
Oh, I believe it's actually to Lancaster.
Stuck his hand the wrong way. Scrum to Lancaster on their own touchline, pretty much, on their try line even. And the Yorkshires once more coming out. Big drive from York required. They're within touching distance of the goal, but not in possession of the ball. Scrum will be reset, however. And I am cold.
Oh, I am absolutely freezing.
I dread to think people in shorts and t-shirts out there how they're feeling, but of course
we won't be feeling the wind with all
they play rugby. They're hard as nails.
Yes, exactly. We apologise again for the death threats on the sidelines. They don't actually mean it, I hope. Strong scrum from York.
The Lancaster who come out with the ball in possession.
Great tackle from York's number 19.
That's an excellent tackle there from Fred Defoe on the Lancaster who choose to kick. Comes back to York fullback just in front of us on the halfway line.
York fly half picked it up.
York fly half picks it up. It's now gone to Tom Chesworth who looks to drive. Puts over one.
Ran straight over the Lancaster player there.
Straight over.
But unfortunately, he had his t-shirt in hand.
Incredible bravery.
Couldn't quite get away.
Murray with a huge drive down at the Lancaster 22. Bucks over. Penalty will be given to Lancaster. York's drive cut short for not releasing. Ill discipline from York.
Yeah, it's the first sign, but hopefully things improve.
Lancaster now in possession of the ball, deep in their own half. Tackle there coming in at the side is number 8 for York. That'll be Jimmy getting a bit overly keen. The ref hasn't given anything for that. But it's Lancaster now. Driving forward, York's defensive line tested once more. And that is a decent run there. Coming through, but the ball has been
knocked on by.
Knocked forwards. The referee will bring it back. It's an excellent tackle. Knocked on by Lancaster.
York scrum.
York will have the ball here. And it's another opportunity for York to flex their prowess in the scrumming department.
So it'll be a York scrum here. They're trying to see if they can swap the ball because it looks like it's a training ball, not really got much grip. Managed to get a new one. It's a runaway ball.
We're playing with a yellow ball now.
Yes. I think they've lost all the white ones to the archery.
They're gone sacrificed to the rugby gods over on the archery range.
Run. Well done. Yeah, keep pushing.
York will have the ball. Opportunity for another drive.
So strong scrum there from York, driving through Lancaster. They've got the advantage. Number 8 picks and goes, passes off to the number 9.
It's a wonderful drive there from...
Fullback drops in.
That was Tom Chesworth with a brilliant drive down, and York now inside the Lancaster 22. Referee
so they've gone back for the scrum advantage there. Not quite sure what went wrong with the scrum, but
There'll be a York scrum then. And
they're going for the penalty, so they're going to try and gain that extra 3 points.
York now lining up over the ball. No one yet.
Number 12, Charlie Williams going to take the kick. Confidence in himself. So that'll be good. If they get this kick, then it'll put York at 18 and Lancaster at 10.
Over the ball. A lot of respect for the kicker from the stands. And the tension is palatable. York wanting to extend their lead here in the second half. Rose's men's ones. Ball is up. And the kick is good. Another 3 on the board for York.
Number 11, Tom Thompson subbing on now.
Tom Thompson substituted on for someone.
I
didn't quite catch the name of.
I believe it's the chap with the scrum cap.
A chap with the scrum cap.
The white scrum cap. Number 14, is it? Yes.
Who's very conveniently not showing his back to us.
Believe it's number 14 he's come on for. Yeah, number 14, Shaq. They call him Shaq.
That's it, Shaq. And it's just about held on to by Lancaster on the far side of the pitch from the Lancaster kickoff. Score now, York 18, Lancaster 10. And it's not an insurmountable lead for Lancaster. We know that they can do it. We've seen them break through the York defensive line, deep in the York half. They found themselves a try, they converted it, and they found themselves on 10 points. What they need to do now, if you're of the Lancaster persuasion, how do you do it again?
Captain having a word with the referee here.
Referee's called the captains over. Looks like it's going to be a scrum.
The crowd's
not entirely sure in which favour.
Crowd's really trying to get in the heads of the players over here.
Scrum in the favour of Lancaster. Line out even in the favour of Lancaster. I see a group of forwards. Think horses, not zebras. Line out on the far side. Lancaster to take.
Nothing too fancy there, just a straight jump.
Sorry, right. It's laid off to Ben Ling.
Number 8.
Forwards. Tom Hopkins for Lancaster. Held up, down on the floor is Ben McGarvey. Ball's out, offloaded to Sven Anderson. Ball has been laid off. Cheeky shove off the ball. And the referee has spotted it. And York will be penalised once more. Not following the rules.
Men getting feisty again. Surprise, surprise. Captain having a word here with the ref and one of the players.
And I'd assume there's nothing further on here, just a talking to. But it's a reminder to Charles Sinclair that he can't behave like that. And
Number 9 just briefing his players on what the ref has told him. I'm assuming the ref's probably had a word and said that everything that they need to say to the ref has to go through the captain. The referee's not going to be speaking to every player on the pitch at all times and explaining every decision that he makes.
It's one of the things I really like about rugby is the respect that the captains and the referee have, and the referee always talking things through the captain. It provides a real responsibility to the captain, and also generally improves players' discipline. Lancaster now chosen to kick the ball to touch. They're pushing for this try.
They've really taken a disliking to number 1.
They have taken a disliking.
I feel quite sorry for the guy.
On the York 22, it'll be a Lancaster line out. And Lancaster looking to build their lead back up here in York, in Heslington, on the 22. Rugby pitch 12, to be precise, I think.
Oh, sorry. We're not allowed to do that. I apologise for anything that's heard.
Seems as though the crowds on the Lancaster side is getting involved just as much. Ball is up. Lancaster receive and they will maul. They will push, they will drive. It's come out and it's gone to Reese Tasker. Tasker's down on the floor, cleared away and back out by Ben McGarvey. Across to Reardon, looks to make it all. He's dragged down. That's a strong tackle from York, who looked to rip the ball. Can't quite escape from the ruck. Ben Ling now pushing his forward. Apologies for any language you might have just heard. Lancaster still pushing. Lancaster with a more dominant spell of play. Tom Hopkins, the chairman of the club, pushing forward now is Jack Lane, offloaded to the wing.
Lancaster really trying to gain some ground here.
And they have gained quite a lot of ground inside, about 10 yards out now. It goes to Pennerling. Once again, a central man in a central position. Max Senior now taking it for Lancaster. York have flicking it back. And Yorkson pushing forward this time as Tom Clark takes the contact. Ball is back.
Ruck swiftly formed there, but
Forwards.
number 18, Alex Fox, pulled over by one of the players. But again, another line out to Lancaster.
Ball finds its way into
Three replacements coming on. Number 6, number 16, and number 17.
That is Jaden Fields coming back on. Maxie Hunt and John Petty.
All forward players. We have all forwards players. That really switches up the game this late in. Another interception by Tayo at the line out.
And it's another brilliant play from York. That's a dashing run there.
Number
Charles
1, number 19, and number 18. So Tom Clark, Fred the Foe, and Toby Paul all come off.
Meanwhile, York have had a good spell of play here, just shy of the Lancaster line. Not out. It's just got out the ruck and it's coming down. Nothing of it so far. Armstrong receives the ball. It's Jaden Fields. Knocked backwards,
but recovered.
It has been
recovered,
just about recovered.
Nicely.
But it's a York knock on in Lancaster.
Lancaster.
We'll get some breathing space. All lack thereof.
With those 3 new replacements in the scrum, it should increase. But we have to remember that they're a man down in the scrum now, with number 8 being Simbind. The scrum is forming though. It will now be 7 men. And they're just crouching. And they have bound. Just waiting for the set. Now there it is. And the ball is in the scrum and being driven forward by the forwards, but unfortunately taken out a bit too quickly before they could do anything with it. But Lancaster's number 20.
That's a good bit of running from Ethan Roche.
Steps. And dropping that ball, gaining those meters, trying to get out of their own 22 and successfully achieved that. But Lancaster trying to use the width of the pitch and again receive a penalty. But
it's
try to
taken quickly, and we've got a bit of a kerfuffle going on there.
That's number 8 there.
Henry
Clearly expressing his dismay for being taken off.
Distressing the Lancaster player a little, trying to test his patience, I think. Which, of course, you would be doing if you're in a position like this. Scores 30-17 into the dying phases of men's ones Roses rugby game between York and Lancaster, as of course it would be because it's Roses coverage. Duh. Lancaster find the ball. Referee's gone over to have a word with the linesman. And one of the players who's already off the pitch.
That is a red card for the man that was already off with a yellow.
Perhaps some poor chats as...
He got it, yeah.
And it was a second yellow to a man already sat in the
second yellow card, so...
We'll get that number to you as soon as possible. And it was number 6 for Lancaster. That is Max Senior, who sees red in red. See what I did there?
Nice play on words there.
Thank you very much. The worst bit is I made that up just now.
Oh.
Lancaster down to I'm going to have to count
So
them up.
therefore, it's now
so many
14
Simbins to
aside.
count.
That was insane. It probably should have came. Let go, man. And like, guys like, he's kicking me. The rest of it, go both of you are. What's the
Bit of a kerfuffle, the cause for these Simbins earlier on. And I've noticed, just in front of us, the Prosecco is being prepared from the York side. 30-17, the last few minutes here.
Yeah. Players just finding out the scorers of their own game. Seems to be the way it goes.
And Lancaster at the disadvantage, still trying to find anything they can out of this game.
How long's still?
There's only 3 minutes left, so the subs are planning on going back on.
Billy Boyd now for Lancaster. It's gone to Josh Alexander's.
Ref decides that went backwards.
Calls a forward pass from the York bench. Malachi Lenihan now, and the last one to take a hit from the York line. Ben McGarvey lays off.
Sam, where's Luke?
McGarvey again at the back of the ruck, gives it to Billy Boyd. Boyd lays off to Jack Lane, who's taking the contacts, and Lancaster being held up very well by a very tight-knit York defensive line. That's a big hit onto Ben Ling, a unit to fell. McGarvey now the one to receive the tackle. And a slightly better period of play from Lancaster. It's gone wide. Darting back in. And surely there's a bit more confidence in York that is an absolute whopper of a hit onto the Lancaster man. Sorry, correction, that was... And it appears on the far side, penalty has been given in the way of Lancaster. They look to take this quickly, kick and go. It's Dylan Jinmi. Is the next to grounds, and big knocked forward by York, collected by Lancaster.
Up into the air.
Ali Murray now. I'm looking at the wrong team sheet.
Oh, that would be the
York professional.
Made a break
as
there.
Is this run here from Lancaster.
Pitch has opened up.
Jack Lane, the one carrying the ball. And Jack Lane, the one who gets the ball down. Lancaster with a shred of hope at this late dying stage. Still the York lead, 30-22. It was a deserving try after a period of dominance from Lancaster, not seen so far in the second half, after York have completely owned the field. Conversion is... It's been taken 20 yards out.
Before I do the...
Draw passes you to end in half.
And Lancaster looking to lessen their deficit.
Yeah, cool.
Lining up to take the kick. Once more, Vice-Captain Billy Boyd.
Thanks again.
And that was
it,
good butts. The York fans erupt as they roar onto the pitch. They have dominated on the field. The fans have dominated off the field. The champagne and Prosecco is flying. And it is York who will take a victory and the Roses points here on the 22
They played a brilliant game there.
It was an incredible game of rugby, and the final score here, down on Rugby Pitch 12, lifting the cup, is the captain of York. Actually, that's Ben Anderson holding it, but either way, raising the cup and being carried towards the Lancaster fans is a crowd of York players. And they celebrate their deserved victory here in Heslington. Final score, York 30, Lancaster 24.
It's been a great game here. And the weather's looking like it's going to clear up in a minute as well, just in time for the celebrations and the women's game over on the other pitch. So please feel free to head down to pitch 13 and go watch the women's.
Absolutely. Make sure you get your way over there. The weather seems to have held off for now, but make sure if there's any wood in your room that you are touching it, that the weather holds out, and bring a coat just in case. Meanwhile, the trophy celebrations are beginning for York in the centre of the pitch. It's looking victory laps and parades and handshakes as jubilant York fans crowd the field and dismayed Lancaster supporters looking for some better luck in the women's.
We're just about to find the players to come do post-match interviews. We will be interviewing the captain of both teams alongside Jaden and Jack, their respective teams' players. You're currently doing a chant now,
Which
probably got some fruity language in it.
not exactly suitable for broadcast, but a jubilant victory, very deserving in their win are York. Commiserations to the Lancaster team and supporters. Of course, they played a strong game, but in the first half it was their ill discipline, and in the second half it was their lack of opportunity as York absolutely dominate.
Final score, 30-24.
We're just waiting confirmation of our interviewees at the moment. But Ruby, what do you think of the game overall?
I think it was a lovely game. I think York really did dominate in the second half. I think the Lancaster, I just felt like they weren't really there. The second half specifically, they are currently spraying champagne. Alex Fox there with the champagne.
The Grand Prix is on later today, guys. I'm surprised students can afford. Can afford the champagne that they are spraying so loosely on the pitch.
Sorry.
But it was, in the end, a victory lap for York here at the Men's Races 1 Rugby. It's ended up being a good day for it. Maybe the softer ground helps a little bit, as we're still just awaiting for information, full confirmation of who we are interviewing here at the side of the pitch. Do come down and watch the women's game, of course, which is going on the other pitch very shortly. I'm sure that'll be, if that's anything like this one, it will be a spectacle as well. And we have a couple of players coming towards us from the York team. And they appear to be holding a rather big cup that I'm certain many pints will be drank from later. And we wait. We have Vice Captain Jaden Field here as well. Sorry, stepping down. Sorry about that, boys. Do you want to come over here? We'll grab you for an interview. Congratulations. Absolutely dominant performance on the pitch, especially late on in the second half where you found that second wins. How does it feel?
It's honestly amazing. Yeah. All credit to Lancaster. Last year, it really hurt. They won it. And I think all season we built to this. The big thing for us has been redemption, getting it right. And thankfully, with an 80-minute performance there, we got it right from the word go. And we weathered the storm in the second half. All credit, they threw it at us, but all glory to God, we got it here. And, you know, the trophy means a lot. So it's a good season, eh?
And it is an impressive trophy indeed. So, obviously, there was towards the end of the second half a bit of discipline going on. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? What happened? Was it tensions running high?
Yeah, I'd put it down to a little bit of over-eagerness. I think we're just so excited, so desperate. 13 points in it. We know there's 10 minutes to go. It's warm. A lot of it were offside and things like that and some high tackles. All we wanted to do was win. I think they wrote us off after last year, 3-0, and they beat us really comfortably. We wanted to make up for that. And I think our message was to start well, and we really did that. After watching the 3s and 2s, they didn't so much. That was our massive message. We're just building from that. So if you give it 2 penalties away, but we definitely got in their heads a little bit. They didn't really want to know towards the end. I thought we'd give a good account of ourselves, and I think we really deserve this.
Definitely.
Do you think that the crowd support really played a role in today and the whole atmosphere?
Yeah, most definitely. I think in the second team yesterday, didn't quite get it right, but all credit to everyone who's come down. I mean, we'll get it right for the women's now, but genuine thank you to everybody. Really, really good, eh?
And that's another thing. We're going to encourage the women's playing this afternoon, 3:00, so their kickoff time. So everyone get down here. Go congratulate, enjoy. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Up the Rams.
Stefan and Jaden there from the University of York. Men's rugby team successful victors here at Roses 2025. Thank you so much for joining us. And it's been a really, really interesting afternoon.
Yeah, thank you everyone. And get down to support the women's as well.
Make sure to get
Thank
there.
you.
Thank you very much, Ruby. And thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Have a good rest of your day.